Oh, hi. I'm a smart investor. I dare say that because I understand the cryptocurrency markets and I am up to date on every new development, fintech and blockchain ecosystem. All because I watch the Inside Blockchain show on Crypto TV Plus. Every Monday morning, Crypto TV Plus brings you news headlines of top stories, interview with an expert, and give you detailed market analysis to enable you make the right business moves. Now you too can become a smart investor if you don't miss it. The Inside Blockchain Show, only on Crypto TV Plus.
This program is brought to you by CEXs, the most trusted digital asset exchange.
Hello and welcome to the program. You're watching Inside Blockchain live on Crypto TV Plus. I am Bobby Ayadike. Today's edition of the Inside Blockchain is brought to you by CEXs, the leading innovative cryptocurrency exchange that offers advanced financial services. Now, over the next 20 minutes, we will be discussing the topic China's crypto ban and Evergrande. What next? Now, for the sake of those who are uninitiated or those who do not seem to know, Evergrande did not make its next deadline. The seriously troubled Chinese developer reportedly did not pay some of its offshore bondholders on Wednesday. But a state-owned venture did help out by buying most of Evergrande's share in Shenzhen Bank. Moving on, the price of Bitcoin and other leading cryptocurrencies tumbled on Friday as news spread that China's central bank had again forbidden all crypto-related transactions. But with the crypto markets appearing broadly nonplussed by the news, the big question this week is whether investors have become immune to China's serial pronouncements, bannings, notices, and warnings, or whether stormier waters lie ahead. Let us go on a short break. When we return, we will take a more closer look as we're joined by experts to help us look into the topic. Stay with us.
The cowrie era is long gone. We grew from 12 states to 36 states, to the richness in our arts and culture, to the millennials, Gen Z, and the Sorosuke generation. Wherever you are, embrace and be proud of your heritage. From all of us at Crypto TV Plus, Happy Independence, Nigeria.
This program is brought to you by CEXs, the most trusted digital asset exchange.
Welcome back. You're watching Inside Blockchain live on Crypto TV Plus. We're still looking at the topic China's crypto ban and Evergrande. What next? Here to help us better understand the issue at hand is Mr. Francis Obasi, the Chief Executive Officer, Lead Wallet. And joining me virtually from Dubai is James Sung, partner at CVN.io. CVN actually stands for Conscious Virtual Network, a third-generation blockchain that adapts the consensus mechanism of Blockchain 3.0. Gentlemen, I must say it is with tremendous joy in my heart that I welcome you to the program today.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I'll start off with you, Obasi. Now, China's recent outright ban on cryptocurrency transactions is raising severe global concerns, as we are well aware. Now, what do you think this means for the global crypto market? Are we in for a long bear market?
Thank you. So, talking about China and the ban, sometimes I'm tempted to think that there's no one in China who is actually saying these things. I just feel like some group of guys will just come and say, okay guys, I think the price of Bitcoin is too high right now and we already exited our portfolio and we need to go back in. So what do? They will just say to themselves, let's play the old card, China banned Bitcoin. And then once they decide, they spread the rumor across all news media platform or outfits. And then, you know, the knobs, those who are just there for speculative reasons, we begin to panic and then they start to sell off. To be honest, there was a time this always got to me, because I just thought to myself, if China is going to ban Bitcoin, then that means all the other governments of the world will, but years will just pass and then the story will continue to remain. But Bitcoin price keeps going on up. The first time China ever banned Bitcoin, it was like $1,000. Today, Bitcoin is over $40-something,000, and then China is still banning Bitcoin. So I think this is just a food and it will go away.
Wow, that is very, very apt and straight to the point. Now, James, over to you. Now, if we take a walk down memory lane, especially during 2013, 2017, now we understand that the Chinese government has always been crypto skeptical, if I can coin it that way. Now, what would you say is behind this crypto skepticism and opposition of the Bitcoin network?
Well, it's not just about Bitcoin. It's about cryptocurrencies, money laundering in general. Because what you have to understand is China is a country that controls their capital outflows. So this is about the bigger picture. It's not just about one Bitcoin. It's about making sure that the government always has control over how much money is invested in China and outside of China. So what you can see is from normal banking procedures, you need permission to send money overseas. So each Chinese person, they're actually allocated only $50,000 to send overseas per year. Now, if they go over that, then they're out of luck. The money stays in China. But if they were to buy Bitcoin and they can buy an unlimited amount of Bitcoin, they can easily send that overseas, therefore bypassing China's capital outflow controls. So this is what China is really concerned about. So to that end, what they're saying is, well, we see that blockchain is getting popular. So what they actually started is their own cryptocurrency called DCEP, Digital Currency Electronic Protocol, I think, payment. So
Yes.
So this is a digital payment and processing network, and it's created by the Central Bank of China, and it's called the ECNY. So basically, this is China's answer. This is their end game. This is what they want because they believe in blockchain. In fact, they started their own currency using blockchain, but they just want to be the ones that control it. So for us in the blockchain world, this is actually good news. It's not that they're saying blockchain is bad. They're not saying Bitcoin is necessarily bad. They're just saying, we want to be the ones to control Bitcoin.
So I understand that some of the specific reasons that we can say that the Chinese government is actually opposing cryptocurrencies is reasons such as fraud, scams, hacks, and all that. So can you help us make sense of this? Do you think such vices are enough reasons to actually clamp down on cryptocurrencies?
Well, should China control cryptocurrencies? Yes, they should. China is a communist country. I mean, it is, and I say communist not as necessarily a bad thing, but they just like to have control of things. And it's what they're really doing is they're watching out for their people. I mean, there's definitely a lot of scams going on. There's definitely a lot of fraud, and people get scammed on the phone. They get scammed through email, and then the payment is taken out of the country through cryptocurrencies. So in this situation, they really do need to control it. In fact, things are so strict right now. I try to open a new bank account, and what they were doing is they're saying, hey, you can't open online banking now. You have to do banking on your mobile phone. Why did they do that? Because they don't want you to just give your login and password to someone else. They want to be able to control who has this. They can see how many cell phones each person has and whether or not they're accessing this account themselves. And you have to have your cell phone for a certain number of months before you can open up a bank account. So you can't just open up a new cell phone and then give it to someone else. It's there's so many controls in place right now.
So basically what you're trying to say is it's all about control for them.
Absolutely. I mean, we can see, like the OTC markets, right? The P2P markets. It's a huge problem for China because before, like I said, what Chinese people have to do is they have to go to the bank and they have to actually get permission to send money overseas. Even if I take a debit card from China and I'm using it overseas, I'm limited to spending. Well, not spending. I can spend as much as I want, but I can only withdraw money, like 100,000 RMB, which is around $15,000 from my debit card. So, so to get around this, people use the OTC markets, which have recently also been shut down somewhat from the major exchanges. And because we can see that the rates, the normal rates for exchange from let's say 1 USDT, I don't know if that's what's popular in Africa as well. 1 USDT to 1 RMB used to be like 6.4 RMB Chinese money to 1 USDT. And then after China came out with the ban, the rates dropped by like at least 10%. So it was under 6 RMB.
That's quite interesting. I'm sorry I have to cut in there. So now China's ban extends to crypto exchanges that do business with Chinese citizens, even if they're outside of China. Now, Francis, do you think this will have a long-term impact on crypto exchanges, and how?
For China's ban of crypto, again, if it is indeed the Chinese government that is doing it, of course, it's just going to be for the short term, because people will always find their way. So let's assume that like Mr. James, who is not in China right now, is a Chinese and he is banned from actually trading crypto. Why not? Why shouldn't he? He is not in China. So how will the Chinese government actually know that he is not he's abiding to their rule, or he is not trading crypto? So again, whatever the government, so I'm not just referring to the Chinese government right now, I'm referring to all the governments globally. Whatever they try to do, they cannot clamp down on crypto dealings. What they can only try to do is, that I think makes sense, is to educate, conscientize the people, tell them the best way and the most legal way to do crypto, and not tell them they cannot, because humans have this impulsive nature of wanting to prove to you that they can do what you think they cannot do. So again, China's ban on crypto and then them banning their citizens from trading crypto, whatever impact it will have, it's just for the short term. Okay, I'll give you another instance. Let's look at the crypto exchanges themselves. Who are the biggest crypto exchanges? Binance, Coinbase, Huobi, and a few others, OKEX. Now, if you look at Coinbase has deliberately decided to play the side of the law, right? So everything they want to do, they let the US government know ahead of time, yes. And then more like seek their permission to do it, right? But every time the government itself, through its agent, wants to restrict some of their dealings, they fall back to the citizens. They use the Senate, they use the House of Rep to get what they want done to be done. You see? Now, yes. If you take it back to China, because at the end of the day, you see that this is a global political tussle, like more like economic tussle between capitalist and then non-capitalist societies or nations. Now, if you go back to China wanted control over Binance, but Binance ran away, and then they went to other countries to incorporate and all of that. Huobi has actually submitted the Huobi exchange to the Chinese government. So it's more like the founder, I heard somewhere that the founder had come out openly to tell the Chinese government that Huobi would willingly hand over all its operation to the central government anytime they wish. Now, what that automatically does is it grants Huobi some sort of protection. That's why if you look at all the whole clampdown on exchanges, you will not hear them clamping down on Huobi. Why? Because somehow Huobi is China's exchange, while the other ones are considered as a rebel or whatever. So again, my opinion, Chinese ban on cryptocurrencies or on exchanges is just going to be temporary in terms of its impact. Along the line, cryptocurrency will always be cryptocurrency, which is being fueled by what? Decentralization and peer-to-peer. That's my opinion.
Well, that's fantastic. So, James, do you concord to that perception? The question is, seeing that crypto exchanges have been banned by the Chinese government, and it actually even concerns those that are outside of China. So, do you think this will have a long-term impact on crypto exchanges, and how?
Well, there's certainly impact. I mean, each time this happens, there's an impact. But what I have here is a handy little chart. Well, you can't see it, but I've got like 12 instances where China banned crypto from 2013 to, of course, this year. I'll just read you one of the headlines, and then it's got a chart of what the return is after Bitcoin return is after 90 days. So in 2017 September, China bans ICOs and financial institutions providing crypto-related services. Now, in 90 days, your Bitcoin return would have been 34%. So let's look at 9/11, 2017. Reports from Chinese media surfaced that the government plans to close down crypto exchanges. In 90 days, your return would have been 258%. And recently, let's say 2021, Sichuan in China orders state-owned energy suppliers to cut down power to 26 local mining farms. And then in 90 days, the return from June to 90 days later would have been 26%. So Bitcoin always comes back.
Okay, that is fantastic. So let us go on a short break. When we return, we'll take a more closer look at the topic, China's crypto ban and Evergrande. What next? Stay with us.
We must defend our unity and honor, bound in freedom, love and honesty. The labor of our heroes past will never be forgotten. 61 years, a new era is upon us. A new set of goal-driven dynamic generation with hopes for a better future. Wherever you are, happy Independence Day from us at Crypto TV Plus.
This program is brought to you by OKEX, the most trusted digital asset exchange.
You're welcome back once again. You're watching Inside Blockchain live on Crypto TV Plus. I'm still here with two fantastic gentlemen. On my left-hand side here in the studio is Francis Obasi, the Chief Executive Officer of Lead Wallet. And joining me virtually from Dubai is James Sung, partner at CVN.io. I'd like to reiterate once more that CVN stands for Conscious Virtual Network, a third-generation blockchain that adapts the consensus mechanism of Blockchain 3.0. So, gentlemen, Francis, in addition to China's crypto ban, Evergrande, the second largest real estate giant in China, is facing its own severe financial crisis. This Fortune 500 company, reeling under a debt pile of over $300 billion, having missed 2 offshore payments to its bondholders, and with disgruntled home buyers, investors, and suppliers staging protests at the company's headquarters. Now, the question is, what do you think is the way out of all this mess?
Okay. So first, when I first heard the news and everybody was shocked. I mean, the market was so impacted, but the forex level and the crypto level, I just started smiling like, this is funny. It's a bubble. All of the financial systems, whether it is a decentralized system or a centralized system, it's a bubble that would always pop. Because money can't keep going into a system and just stay in that system. So what happens is, in every investment system or structure, people always take profit, right? So let's say, for instance, you start a system with $1 million, and then you grow that system through, of course, capital raise. So when you grow the system through capital raise to, like, let's say $50 million, remember, the initial person who gave you $1 million is expected to have made lots of profits, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And other people who would come in the process should make profits too. They can't just keep recycling their money in that particular venture. Somebody needs to take profit and buy a house for themselves. Somebody needs to take profit and buy a car for themselves. Now, the problem always is that people always overpromise, and then they always fail to understand the reality that something cannot always remain the same way that they are. So now talking about the developers situation, America has experienced housing bubble over and over again. China, this is not the first time they are experiencing housing bubble. There is always a way out. The way out for them, as far as the centralized system, is buyback, reinvestment, reprinting of money, revaluation, devaluation, and all of those shit, right? Yeah. So that's always the way out, and that's how this is also gonna end. So China will definitely come back and assist the developer. Otherwise, a lot of Chinese men will commit suicide. A lot of families will go completely bankrupt and hungry. So at some point, the government will come in and assist. Now that's the whole catch.
No. We also need to establish something that you're recommending buyback, but Evergrande made an official statement that they are unable, or that they will not be able to pay back some of these debts. So if you're recommending buying back, where are the funds going to come from?
I'm not recommending. I'm telling you what will happen. It's not my recommendation.
Okay.
It's a normal historical process. It's a normal economic process. If you do economic history and follow the pattern of economic development and growth, you will come to realize that when the economy comes to a halt, a solution is usually sought. The unfortunate thing is that the world usually rely more on the 10, 5, 15, 20 handful of government officials who just sit down and craft one thing they call economic policy and then have it implemented, and then we get some sort of cushioning effect, something that will just calm down the situation for the time, and then after 5 to 10 years the situation repeats again. So again, I'm not recommending this as the solution. I'm telling you, this is what is going to happen in the next 6 months to 1 year, right? All we just have to do is follow up, right? So now when they bring, yes, they say they cannot be able to buy back some of the loans or pay back some of the loans.
Yes.
So government is obviously going to mint money. They are going to mint new money, pump it back into the housing estate, especially to save that guy, because that guy has hired, he is feeding so many mouths, so many Chinese, so many non-Chinese are depending on him. So you cannot just let a full establishment of that nature just go down the drain. How you will know this is what will happen is take the recent economic crash, at least the one that bathed Bitcoin and the rest of them, 27, 28 down to 9. You see that Obama then had to do what? Buy back a lot of the companies as at the time that were experiencing the global financial meltdown, right? Yes. So like the popular General Motors and a lot of other steel companies that you would never have thought that they would experience such financial situation. They experienced it. The only solution America had and other countries that were affected was to buy back those companies. That's for the countries that can't buy back. While the other ones that cannot will definitely have to fold up, or in some cases they nationalize the companies themselves. So if China, being a command state economy or a command system, a system that is heavily centralized and controlled by the government, will not buy back the developers situation right now, what they will do is that they will nationalize the entire company, take control, appoint new CEO, bring the right amount of money that is needed to solve whatever problem that is currently being experienced. That's how I see this.
Oh, that is fantastic.
And then
Simply
talking
fantastic.
about my own way out. My own way out is decentralize everything, right? So decentralizing everything does not mean that there will no longer be crashes or there will no longer be bubble. But if you also still do a little bit economic history trace back, and then you go to the days of Adam Smith, when we had moved away from the crude economic system,
yes,
where Adam Smith himself proposed the laissez-faire economy, where you let people come into the market and exit freely. It then looked like now, right? Though you would argue that there were lots of scammers, a lot of people were inefficient and all of that, but sometimes people have to grow with time, not with so much control and so much regulations. I believe if capitalism had allowed to thrive in its true form back then till now, we would be better off in terms of economic global economic situation than we are today. But following the original meltdown of Adam Smith's proposal, you know, a lot of things changed. Government regulations came in and all of that, but we are still experiencing collapse every day. So that means the government's own solution is actually not the true way. The true way is to let economies run themselves. Government at best should just be on the side to help advise, to help, you know, persecute people who violate economic rules or transactional rules. You know, for instance, on a P2P level, if I want to sell Bitcoin to you, it's expected that if I send my Bitcoin to you, you send me the cash. Or if you send me cash and so I'm expected to send you the Bitcoin. Now, when I fail to follow this basic general rule that doesn't require third party, I should be prosecuted. And if you do the same thing, the same punishment should be meted on you. So again, decentralization is the way.
Oh, fantastic stuff, Francis. So James, quoting an article from New York Times dated September 28, 2021, and I quote, "Observers are watching to see if Chinese regulators make good on their pledge to clean up the country's corporate sector by letting debt bombs like Evergrande collapse." End of quote. Do you think Chinese regulators will step in to save Evergrande from their debt crisis?
Well, first of all, that was a very impressive answer from Francis. He covered a lot of points already. You know, China's regulators, they said, you know, everyone's saying Evergrande is too big to fail. And then the Chinese regulators, you know, they said Evergrande is not too big to fail, you know, and they said it with a wink, wink, you know. So this is what everyone on my side of the table is thinking. I mean, Evergrande is a company that is too big to fail. Why? Because they have hundreds of thousands of Chinese employees. They have hundreds, if not thousands, of suppliers. They have thousands of customers. You know, all of these people will be owed money. It's not just about one company collapsing. It's definitely going to have a cascading effect. We can see in the news, you know, just a few hours ago, these bonds are already being picked up by overseas, you know, American, British companies, funds. And, you know, this is, people are very optimistic about Evergrande, actually. We can see China's GDP is 14 trillion. 300 billion certainly is important, but it's really not enough to make a dent. So this is something that I think will resolve itself shortly.
Okay, so just to wrap it up, what you're saying is there's no possibility for regulators to come in and save the day.
I am saying there certainly is a possibility for regulators to come in to save the day. They're saying that they're not going to save the day, but I think they will come in to save the day.
Okay, that's fantastic. So, Francis, it is believed that the China's real estate giant Evergrande's debt crisis is rattling global markets, equity markets, and all that, including the global crypto market. So, can you help us make sense of this? Because I feel the conversation right now, crypto enthusiasts, key players in the blockchain and cryptocurrency industry, people want to understand what is the connection? Why is this giant, this real estate giant, why is this financial crisis, why is it affecting the global crypto market? Can you help us make sense of this?
It's finance, it's economy. Like the economy, they are interconnected, right? So when you think real estate, for instance, what else will you think? Housing, right?
Yes.
When you think housing, you are going to think, you know, the materials you use to build these houses. So like the steel companies, those who make the rods, the timber companies, the people who make the timber, you know, the cement makers and all of that. So when you think real estate, you actually will think about 5 to 15, 20 industries coming into this. So it's that means Evergrande. I really don't. I use Evergrande.
Evergrande.
Right?
Evergrande.
Evergrande.
Yes.
Thank you very much. So Evergrande is in the situation that it is in, sadly, and it's affecting the real housing estate or the housing sector that they control globally, because I don't think that they have business only in China. They have business across
offshore,
the country,
yeah, exactly.
offshore and all of that. And they have raised investments from offshore too. And they brought it into the business and all of that. So now, while they are going down, other industries that are relying on the seed entity will start going down too. And some of these industries have companies that are publicly listed. So if you do your research, you begin to realize, okay, still companies that are somehow directly or indirectly tied to Evergrande that is publicly listed is going to be affected in terms of its quoted shares in the open market. And it's the same thing, it's a boomerang. So anything that happens to A will definitely happen to B, C, D, E.
So it's like a ripple effect.
Yes, it's a ripple effect.
Oh, okay.
You understand? But again, whether it is good time, whether it is bad time, those who are there to make money will always make money. So people make money off good news, people make money off bad news, right? So the traders who are there in the market sees it as an opportunity to do what? Crash the market. Because first of all, you that is maybe a real estate or a housing trader, someone who is trading the housing stock, for instance, and you see that kind of news, you panic, you dump, right? But someone else who sees that, okay, this problem will definitely be resolved at some point in time, will buy in at that time. You understand? Now, as your dumping is affecting all that, so it's a news that will just keep circulating and going around, even down to crypto. So the fact that it's affecting crypto does not even mean anything at all, because when you think about cryptocurrency, what does it have to do with the real housing? But then again, remember that the people who also trade crypto also do real estate. So if the assets they own in real estate stocks, for instance, is being affected, you don't expect them to hold on to their crypto. They want to dump so that they can have liquid cash and probably just hold on to the real estate asset stocks they are holding to see if it's gonna improve. So it's a ripple effect, and again, it's gonna go. It's just a matter of time. And yes, crashes is inevitable. In fact, I think I read somewhere where they said that the global crash is going to keep coming on different, like it's going to affect different sectors throughout 2021, 2022. But again, this is expected when you look at the fact that governments last year and this year governments all over the world, they gave out a lot of free money. Where did this free money come from? They were minted out of the blue. You understand? So that money needs to be paid for by someone. If it's not by me, it has to be by you. It has to be by someone. So these effects you're seeing are part of the process, paying back for those free money that has been minted. You see, so yeah, thank you.
Oh, that's fantastic stuff. So James, just to wrap it up, what's your take on this? Why do you think this is affecting the global crypto market, and what do you think is the future in light of everything that is happening? Because I read something online, and there was this prediction that Bitcoin will probably hit $63,000 by the end of the month of October. So what do you think is the future? What do you think the future looks like for crypto markets in light of everything that's happening?
Well, all these crises, financial crises, in the traditional markets, only show how much potential there is for Bitcoin and the crypto industry to be truly decentralized, to not be able to be manipulated by central governments. This Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, they are the ultimate hedge against the risks that we see. So in the short term, yes, any sort of negative financial news affects financial markets, including crypto financial markets. But in the long term, this only shows how strong Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are going to play a strong role in our future.
No, that is fantastic stuff, straight to the point, just the way I like it. So I think that's it. We've come to the end of the program. Thank you for joining us on the show, James. Thank you for joining us on the show, Francis. I must say it's been an absolute learning experience from both of you gentlemen. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, James, for being on the show. Do enjoy the rest of your day. And that will be all on today's program. You can get more market updates and all the happenings captured within the world of blockchain and cryptocurrency on our website, cryptotvplus.com. Follow us on our social media, Facebook and Twitter @CryptoTVPlus, and also on our YouTube channel at Crypto TV Plus. Kindly subscribe if you have not done that to get daily info and more amazing contents. Today's edition of the Inside Blockchain Show is brought to you by OKEX, the leading innovative cryptocurrency exchange that offers advanced financial services. You can check them out at www.okex.com. Thank you for staying with us. I am Obasi and James Sung. Till next time.
This program is brought to you by OKEX, the most trusted digital asset exchange.